Widely considered the greatest guitarist in history, Jimi Hendrix used London's music scene as a launchpad to international stardom. It was during his stay here that songs such as Purple Haze, Stone Free, and The Wind Cries Mary were written and first played. It's because of this monumental step in Hendrix's career that Seattle's E&P Museum has just opened Hear My Train A-Comin', a new exhibit focusing exclusively on Hendrix's stay in London. Senior curator Jacob McMurray explains.
This idea that Hendrix enters London as, a talented, guitar player, but a virtual unknown, and, through 9 months of living in the city, he releases, forms a band, plays 120 dates, releases 3 singles and an album, and goes from nobody to the top of the British music chart.
McMurray felt the need to capture the essence of London in the exhibit in order to mirror the feeling of what Hendrix was doing at the time.
A lot of the music that he's playing is so indelibly tied to the character of London that it felt really important to try to give a sense of what that was. It's much less a backdrop and much more an active sort of catalyst for, Hendrix becoming who he was.
The EMP has the largest Hendrix collection in the world, with over 5,000 artifacts documenting his life. They range from outfits to fragments of his smashed guitars to handwritten lyrics. They even have Jimi's personal record collection.
So I think that, with Jimi's record collection, what I wanted to get across was just, again, that idea of nuance, that, Jimi Hendrix, we know of him as this guitar god, and people think, that he is the greatest guitar player in the world, and, and he is, but he is also, a consummate musician. He was really interested in a lot of the music that was coming out from his peers in London at the time, but he was drawing from a huge blues and R&B sort of, history that that he himself participated in.
Hendrix, with the help of a few friends, used London's music scene to rebrand his career from blues player to pop star.
British populace was really enamored with American R&B and blues, and so the idea that Hendrix, who was schooled in the R&B and blues, would come over to England, and hang out with, somebody like Eric Clapton or Jeff Beck or, these guys that, loved the American blues. Like, Jimi was the real deal. And so, that was one way that Jimi sort of, made an inroad into, into that, that British scene. But I think at the same time, that scene sort of affected him as well. Chaz Chandler, who was Jimi's manager, he was the bass player for the Animals. He knew how the scene worked and was like, if we're going to make you a star, we need to, make 3-minute pop songs. We need to, add some material that will work for, the tastes of the scene at the time.
McMurray says his goal when assembling the exhibit was to focus more on who Jimi was.
I could choose to focus on drama or, things that would titillate, but, instead I choose to focus on, on aspects of Jimi's story that really expands, out the idea of who Jimi is. And so I hope he would see that and he would like it.
The exhibit opened on the 17th and supplies a little something for everybody. Tickets to EMP are $30, and with that, you can, as Jimi would say, get experienced. I'm Dan Herda.